Well, here we are at the Todd Farm trailhead of the Uwharrie Trail. Starting from here, it is a full, I believe, 40 miles to get to the 24-27 trailhead at the other end of the Uwharrie Trail. Well, I hear the trail calling. Time to get moving. So the plan is to do probably about only 5 or 6 miles today. Just to kind of get a little bit of a start. Then tomorrow morning, try to get out on the road section a little bit early, about 3.5 miles of road to do. And from there, head up the King Mountain, the highest point on the Uwharrie Trail, and camp on Little Long Mountain. There's a nice shelter up there. We'll be putting the hammock up there. After that, third day, I will be meeting with Robbie where we left off last time. And a little bit of a stream crossing. Wasn't here last time. It's a little bit more wet this time around. So meet up with him where we left off, and then he can complete the second 20 miles, and we can officially have both finished the Uwharrie Trail. So I've been following this, and it looked like a lot of the water in the recent storms had run down here, and I actually had to double check and make sure that I am still on trail. But yep, there's a little blaze hidden right there, and I turned around and saw one right there, so I'm still on trail. And unfortunately there's a camp there with a bit of litter and clothing and garbage, and kind of sad, but deeper we get in, the less we'll see that. One thing I will say, it is humid today. I was hoping that the storms would pass and it would be a little bit drier. But nope, that humidity is just hanging in here. It's pretty bad. So it looks like we're finally on a little bit of a downhill here. Still warm, but not quite as muggy and humid as it was down near the water. So a little bit more comfortable, although the gnats are picking up a little bit. I did increase my ventilation a little on my shirt. I apologize. That's until I get a chance to stop and grab myself a handkerchief, dry off a little bit, maybe grab a little water. It'd probably be about time in about 10 or 15 minutes or so. So yeah, found that out here. Yeah, those storms did quite a bit of damage out here. I can't wait to see what else we have. A lot of downed trees, a lot of uprooted trees. Always awesome coming across these old trail trees here. Made a brief stop to get myself a little handkerchief and dry off a little bit and cool off a little, take some water. This was the campsite that Robbie and I stayed at the first time that we tried this hike. And it was pretty nice up here on the ridge. It was cool and it was comfortable, but I do want to make it maybe about 2 more miles and call it a night. So one of the crazy things to realize looking out over this wilderness here is that almost 250 years ago, this was a plantation right here. A little bit further down the trail, won't be staying at the campsite down there, but there is actually the old cemetery as well. Well, I decided to push it to the trailhead instead of camping at a creek with these storms coming in. Storms are mostly past. I made it to a trailhead to camp at, and there was a van there. And I've seen that van there before. That guy is a resident. I wasn't too comfortable. So at this point I've already got maybe a mile or so on, and I've got about 3.5 more miles on the road. Get to another trailhead. Hopefully that'll be empty and I can set up there and be ready to go in the morning. Alright everybody. Well, I made it to the next trailhead. Set up my new tarp. Getting ready to try that out tonight. and managed to eat. Got my bag all hung up there. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about, let's see if we can get this on film over here. That set of eyes that have been staring at me all night long. Well, I guess you can't really see it. But the fact that they've been there all night long tells me they're probably just not a nocturnal animal, just nesting over there. Well, right at the trailhead, ready to go first thing in the morning. See you then. Well, here we are, just about sunrise. It wasn't a long night's sleep, but it was a pretty good sleep. About to get my food down, have a little breakfast. Slept pretty good actually last night. It was very quiet, very nice, actually a little bit chilly near the morning. Can't wait to get back on the trail again. Alright, it's light enough you can actually see me now. So, got my breakfast started. I'm going to get myself fueled up, take care of some things, pack up, and we'll head back onto the trail again. I am trying one of these breakfast skillets from Mountain House. Normally don't buy Mountain House because they're pretty expensive and pretty bulky as well to carry. And you can see I've got Carnation. They've got the instant breakfast protein, and combine that with some coffee, and I actually put some powdered milk in there this time to thicken it up and make it a little bit better, but you can use it without milk. And that's always a good little breakfast drink to get going in the morning. You know, to be honest, it doesn't look half bad. Kind of looking forward to trying. Just did a little quick look at the maps, and as of right now it is still not even 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was only supposed to do about 5 or 6 miles yesterday, and then about 10 to 12 miles today. And I did almost 11 miles yesterday, which means I've got 6 miles to go today. That's it. 6 miles, I'll get into the shelter, sleep overnight, and meet up with Robbie in the morning. Alright, sun's out. Weather's getting a little bit warm and humid, but I think it's time to hit the trail. Easy day today. A little bit of extra time today, so little side adventure and go see exactly what this sleep pile is, or late pile as it kind of looks in there. Well, I certainly wouldn't say that was 0.2 miles, and I was wondering if maybe there was something further, but I don't see any other trails out here, just wilderness out there. Other than that, not exactly the most exciting side trip there. And even stacking rocks, it's kind of a little bit of cheating when you have slate like that. Some of the little interesting finds out here. Hard to believe that there used to be some roads out here and some other work that was done. Getting into a little bit of a rocky patch here. Slowly approaching Walker's Creek. Take a little break, take on some water. I finished up the last of my water before I left camp this morning. Well, we made it down to Walker's Creek. I always kind of like this one. It's usually the first thing you'll come to after the road, about 1.3 miles, pardon the dirty shirt cooling off. About 1.37 miles, I think, from the trailhead. Not the cleanest water today, but luckily got my Sawyer, clean that back out. Get some water in me, get some more electrolytes, get ready to climb 2 mountains. I got King Mountain first, and then Little Long Mountain. And of course, Little Long Mountain, that's the shelter that I'll be staying at. So, probably travel on maybe, I think it's a mile or so. Try to get down to Poison Fork and get some clean water. Got some really nice water there, I do like that stuff. Camel some back, bring back about 4 liters to the shelter for overnight. And I say overnight, but it's going to be pretty much afternoon and overnight. Yeah, so I checked the time, and it's only about 10:15, so I'm 1/3 of the way to my stopping point for the day. I think it's going to be a nice restful day up in the shelter today. So it's finally starting to turn out to be a beautiful day. The sun's coming out. As I climb up, the air is getting a little bit drier and cooler. I should know by now that the lower areas with the rivers and streams, those can be a little bit muggy and a little bit warm. But as you get to the higher elevations, it tends to get a little bit drier and cooler. So right now we're going a little bit downhill. I know there's quite a bit uphill still to go before I get to the top of King Mountain. And at the top of King Mountain, take a little break. No views up there. It's just the highest point on the Uwharrie Trail though. So luckily I believe there's a lot of switchbacks. It's not just a straight ascent up. Well, here it is. It's, kind of anticlimactic. This is King Mountain summit right now. It's the highest point on the Uwharrie Trail. And no views, but it's a milestone. There's a nice little campsite right here at the peak, so I'm going to take myself a little break, try to cool off, get a little bit of water. Not too far to the shelter at this point, so my hike for the day is almost done. I'm going to maybe set up the hammock, take a nap, or at least relax a little bit. Yeah, it's a stressful day out here. So I'm up on top of King Mountain right now, and the highest point. Nice little campsite, settled in, laid back, comfortable, starting to dry off a little bit. My equipment's starting to dry out. Just the humidity last night was so bad, even underneath the tarp and underneath the cover, nothing really dried out. Everything started wet this morning. So, gonna let that stuff dry. Gonna cook myself a little bit of lunch soon. I've only got about 2 miles left to get to the shelter. And from there, maybe go an extra, it's about half a mile, I think, to Poison Fork and pick up some fresh water for the night. Although I hear the spring is running after the Joe Moffett Trailhead, so I will pick up some water there and rest a little bit before I go get my final water at the shelter. This is life. So I ended up spending about 3 or so hours at least on top of King Mountain. Got back on the trail, a little over a mile back down at the Joe Moffett Trailhead now. And heading on up towards the final destination for the evening at the shelter. Probably pick up a little bit of water at the spring, and then, as I said before, get a little bit of a rest and drink up, then go get some fresh water down from Poison Fork. Nice clean water down there, and then bring that back up for the night. Not the strongest running spring, but it works. I was able to set my Evernew bag in there and just kind of lay it on the side with the water flowing into it and was able to fill it up. I actually might have enough water from the spring to make it through the night, so I drank up pretty well, and I've got 2 liters left and I'm almost at the mountain, so here we go. I don't know how many hundreds of spiders have tried to stop me in the past 2 days alone. They haven't gotten me yet, but man, they are usually sneaky. That one I managed to see just because the sun's hitting it right. And there we are, we've arrived. Here's the Eagle's Nest shelter where I'll be staying the night. The long mountain. And here we have it, the only real views here on the Uwharrie Trail. Looks like I will actually be watching the sunset roughly in this area, so hopefully that'll be a nice pretty one to end the night on. There you go. And we are all set up for the night. And set up pretty nice and well inside the shelter. little bit of a wasp nest in there. It's the only thing that's concerning me, but I don't think they're going to bother me that much. They're sleeping at night anyway. Slowly approaching sunset. As of right now, the sky is clear overhead. Might just be a beautiful night. Hopefully stay like that and keep a nice clear view all night. It'd definitely be nice. Sunset on top of a little long mountain. Turns out to be pretty beautiful. Well, I've been up for a little bit now, but it looks like the sun is finally starting to come up. And very soon that sun should be coming up. Probably about, I'd say, 20 or 30 minutes. Maybe we'll get a nice little sunrise over the mountains here. Not on this side, but might just paint the mountains if we're lucky. They are a little bit foggy right now. You can see out there, but it's not that bad. You can see them. So I'm hoping the sun will come up, light the mountains. That'd be beautiful. So the sun is up enough to do some recording, and a little while longer we'll have some sunrise. A little bit damp this morning inside the shelter, surprisingly. I didn't expect any kind of moisture. I don't know if it was, I don't think it was necessarily dew dropping in the morning, but it might have just been humidity in there that collected. So I didn't use a tarp. I didn't think about that. I don't even know if it would have helped. But anyway, sunrise is coming. Hopefully it's going to paint a pretty picture on those mountains. Never really did get to see the sun hit. Those mountains got covered up in a fog. A little bit of it rolled through here a minute ago too, but everything's looking good. I'm about ready to head out. Neat little thing I was going to point out about this shelter before I take off. It does have an electrical outlet. You know, if you happen to bring your George Foreman grill or toaster up here, maybe you need your hairdryer in the morning. It is until you actually get up and look at it and realize that there's something missing. But technically, there's an outlet here. Here we go, day 3 on the road again. I do not want to be bit by one of these monsters. That is a giant horsefly. Gonna be going maybe a little more than a mile, get some water down at Poison Fork. And then I'll be meeting up with Robbie, and we're going to work on that second half of the trail together that we didn't get to finish for Father's Day. Well, I've made it down to Poison Fork. Time to refill the water. This is most likely the cleanest water here on the Uwharrie Trail. And that's not just personal opinion. You can actually look that up. It did receive the highest rating for a freshwater source. So, yeah, this is some good water. Well, since I am trying to get to Robbie on time this morning, I don't have time for the side detour. But up this small trail here is the site of the lone grave of Diane Woodall, who was a 10-year-old girl that had died in a settlement here. The settlement failed, but not before she had passed away. So that is the only grave that is out here that remains of the original settlement. So managed to meet up with Robbie. We're heading back into the Uwharrie Trail to finish the second 20 miles that we didn't do last time. Starting off with a trek up Dark Mountain. Lots and lots of rocks. Lots and lots of hill. A little bit easier trail now. That hike up Dark Mountain, that was definitely quite a beater there. That was 3/4 of a mile straight up the hill. A little bit rougher on Robbie, who was just starting out, so I already had a couple miles on at that point. But we went over a ridgeline after that. It was pretty steady, and now we're just kind of easy walk in the woods, a little bit cooler, a little bit drier. Pretty nice walk. had a nice little break. We're packing up. Got about 5 miles or so down. Probably about 5 more to go we'll do tonight. And then trying to find a nice stream or something to camp on. Hopefully we'll make it to Uwharrie Branch. So we came to Spencer's Creek. And over where the bridge went across, the water didn't look too pleasant. It was deep and it was going to be difficult to try to fill the ever-new bag there. But then we came upstream just maybe like 50 feet. And just beautiful little waterfalls, and water's running great. So we refilled. Now, down over this way, Robbie did find himself a water snake, but that's so far the only one that we've seen on the trail in all the miles that we've done here. And this here is the Spencer Creek Bridge that we were heading across next. Well, we made it into camp, got everything set up. Hammocks are set up. Ramen bombs are cooked, and just ending it out for the night.
With signal.
Yeah. Decided to go down to the bottom of the hill, fill up on water, cameled back about 6 liters, and we're staying on the, oh good gunshots, that's always nice. Staying on top of the mountain tonight instead of down by the creek, because after that water moccasin sighting today, we'll pass. Packing up camp for our last night, well, Robbie's first night, my last night. It's going on to day 4 for me, and got about 10 more miles and we're out. Haven't been filming too much today. We've been kind of in go mode. Just the goal of getting back, trying to get back early enough. We're about to cross Big Island Creek one last time. Getting near the end, and we've got a half-mile trek up a 350-foot elevation climb, back down a little bit, and then one more gradual climb. And that's put us on fairly level ground for the rest of the way. So, I'm actually filming this about 2 or so weeks since the Uwharrie Trail, but there were a couple things I did want to go over that I didn't get to touch on in the original video footage. The first is my first night, first day of hiking. I went to the trailhead, I was going to camp there, and there was that red van, and when Robbie and I had gone through the first time in June, that red van was also there, backed into the woods with the tailgate open. So it was at that point I realized it wasn't just somebody at the trailhead, it was actually somebody apparently living there. So just trusting gut instinct, I decided to move on. I wasn't exactly going to stay there for the night. May have been completely harmless, may have not been anything to worry about, but I just played it safe. Then, of course, 3.5, 4 miles of grueling road walk in the dark because it was at sunset when I did finally come out. I apologize. All these noises here. I am actually at my mother's right now. You'll see that a little bit later. I did do 30 plus miles of the Appalachian Trail and visit my mother at the end. So that's where I'm currently filming from. Anyway, so I pushed on. It was 3.5, 4 miles at least of road walk in the dark, in a thunderstorm, but I felt a little bit safer after following Trailhead and moved on. Now the other thing I wanted to touch on, I was hoping to have Robbie, but we came out in a rainstorm and we were exhausted and just didn't have time to film it. But we did give ourselves trail names. My first one I had actually earned on our first section of the hike, but didn't become official until we were on the second part. And what happened was I was telling Robbie about my night in the shelter the night before, and I heard mooing. So I thought, well, maybe we're near a farm and that was a cow or something. And before I could say, or it might have been a deer, Robbie chimes in with, cows moo. So at that point I just kind of looked at him and said, yeah, bud, they do. And he kind of face palmed and said, oh, yeah, I meant to say that deer make a moo sound. And I knew what he meant, but so he became CM, cows moo. And he goes, okay, Dad, at that point, you're Mantis. So Mantis, I got that name based on how I was explaining to him how to clear the spider webs ahead. And I just picked up my trekking poles and just kind of after them. And he says, you look like a mantis. So, yep, we are Mantis and CM, cows moo, on the trail, at least together. So that's that, and look forward to putting out this video and then shortly following, hopefully, the Appalachian Trail video. That was a beautiful hike in Connecticut, despite some additional mileage due to a reroute and also forgetting a piece of equipment, having to trek back round trip over 3¼ miles. So that'll all be in that next video. Have a great day, get outside, enjoy nature, just get out.